Good evening, everybody. Welcome to everybody that's in the room and who's joined us via live stream. We appreciate everybody who's in attendance in person and virtually. Tonight, we're going to have the Centerville Community School District's board meeting. We're going to have a couple things: an instructional support program public hearing, followed by our regular board meeting. It is August 12th of 2024, 5:30 p.m. in the Centerville admin offices. Centerville Community School District mission is that all students will learn well, become lifelong learners, and contribute positively to society. We're going to start off tonight with the continued proposed instructional support program public hearing. I'd like to call that public hearing to order with a roll call, please.
Berger.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Heffron. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Liston.
Here. Need to approve the agenda, please. A motion second to approve the agenda for the public hearing portion of tonight's proceedings.
Motion.
Motion to approve the
Second.
agenda.
We have a motion second to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay. Next, the proposed instructional support program. You want to talk about this, Mr. Taylor?
Actually,
Oh,
Lisa has
Lisa, you're talking
more
about-
information
Yeah.
on this, just explain.
Well, I just don't, I don't have really too much more to add than last.
This is just what gets us up to the 100% funding
It's
per student.
a continuation, it's not a new levy. The current one expires in 2026. It's approximately $430,000 in funding, and we're just asking for you to approve it for the next 5 years.
At this point, does the board have, we're gonna have board discussion on it in a minute, so. At this point, are there any comments from the public or any interested visitors on the, continuing the instructional support program levy? Hearing none, is there any board discussion? Hearing no discussion, entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing portion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the public hearing. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion to adjourn is approved. We will go on to our regular meeting. I'd like to call the regular meeting in order with a roll call, please.
Berger.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Heffron. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Liston.
Here. I'd like to welcome any visitors in our public forum. Is there anybody from the public that will wish to speak and address the board? I don't see any visitors here tonight. Seeing none, I'll dispense with the reading of board policy about visitor comments for the sake of time tonight. And we'll move on to approving the agenda, please.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Our first item of business tonight will be joined by Daniel Hainfield from Allers and Cooney. We're going to have the first of two closed sessions. The purpose of the closed session is to review and discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51A. Does anybody have any questions on Section 21.51A of the open and closed meeting laws in the state of Iowa? None? Okay. Then we need a roll call to go into closed session.
Do we need a motion?
I'm sorry, thank you. We need a motion and a second.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion second to go into closed session. Roll call, please.
Berger.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Heffron. Yes. Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Thomas. Liston.
Yes. And for those of you that aren't in the room that are not part of the closed session, I believe, and I will say this, when we come out of this closed session, we will have to go into a second closed session. Does anybody want to come in and watch those proceedings, or can we just go into the second closed session? Okay, thank you. Okay, we are back in open session. We have completed the closed session portion of our item or on the regular meeting agenda. We are now back in open session. Item 4A, action item, consider an action on late filed open enrollment application for TF.
I move to approve the late filed open enrollment application for Tegan Martin with no good cause for the 2024-25 school year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the motion as read. This will be a roll call vote, please.
Berger,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heffron. Yes. Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Liskus.
No. Okay, it's been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Good luck. Thank you.
She will very much appreciate it.
Item 5, closed session. We have another closed session to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to keep confidential pursuant to Iowa Code Section 2151A, consideration of action of a late file open enrollment application. Roll call, we need a motion and a second, please.
So.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Roll call, please.
Berger,
Here.
Carter,
Yes.
Heffron. Here. Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Liskus.
Yes.
Follow me.
Okay. So we are back in closed session.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we are back into open session. We have ended our segment of 2 closed sessions tonight. So everybody that's live streaming and watching this, we appreciate your patience as we work through the closed session issues tonight. At this point, we are in regular meeting item 5A. Action item, consider action on late filed open enrollment application for student AH. Is there a motion?
Move to deny the late filed open enrollment application of Daviana Hatfield for the 2024-2025 school year due to no good cause shown.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny consideration of the application. As stated in the motion, this will be a roll call.
Berger,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Heffron. Yes. Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Liskus.
Yes. Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to item 6, approve the meetings of the minutes of the previous meetings.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. Item 7, old business, approve the FY25 activity fees. As you can see, the board packet has been highly simplified as per request. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the FY25 activity fees. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Item 6, new business A, consideration action on late open enrollment applications there's 4 students. Mr. Taylor, please.
Yes. So the first student is CM. This student is requesting a late open enrollment to the Eddyville Blightsburg Fremont Homeschool Assistance Program. This student moved from one parent in Pharr, Texas, to a parent in Centerville. It was in late July, so it qualifies under the good cause circumstance of changing students' residence due to change in residence from one parent or guardian to another. So therefore, I'm recommending that we approve this late open enrollment for Camila Martinez.
Okay. So, do we want to handle these one at a time by the board, or we want to do all 4 of them together?
There's 2 different recommendations between the 4.
So we should just handle these individually? Okay. Does anybody have any questions on number 1 for CM and Mr. Taylor's recommendation to approve? Questions? Would the board like to take action?
Make a motion to approve open enrollment, late open enrollment request for CM.
We have a motion second to approve late open enrollment for student CM. All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Aye, I'm sorry, I confused you.
We're-
Aye.
we're letting Zoe Foley.
I'm with you.
All opposed?
Yes.
Application is approved for good cause. Number 2, RV.
My recommendation on this one is to approve as the student qualifies for the same circumstance, change in residence from one parent or guardian to another. Again, late in July, that move occurred.
Questions for Mr. Taylor?
Motion to approve the late open enrollment request for RV for good cause.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the late open request for RV for good cause. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Application's approved. Item 3, CJ.
I'm recommending that on CJ, also mom has requested this to be withdrawn, but I'm recommending that we not approve this open enrollment request as there is no good cause demonstrated.
Any questions for Mr. Taylor?
Motion to not approve CJ late open enrollment application. Second.
We have a motion second to basically deny CJ's open enrollment application. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. That is denied. Items 4. 7, 8.
CD is the same situation. This is the same parent that requested that we withdraw their application, so I'm recommending that we deny as there was no good cause demonstrated in the application.
Any questions for Mr. Taylor? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion second to deny the application as submitted for student CD. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Application is denied. Thank you very much. It's been a long time since we had a procedural board meeting like this, so thank you for bearing with all the roll calls, open and closed sessions. We do have one more roll call, and that is for item B, resolution to continue participating in the instructional support program.
Again, this is in order to maintain 100% funding per pupil to get up to the state's district cost per pupil.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good. It's roll call. So roll call, please.
Berger.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Sheffrin. Yes. Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Liston.
Yes. Instructional support program is approved. All right, change order number 1 for Howard Lakeview re-roof project. If you saw on your board, this is cleaning up some architectural documentation from 2021 roof repair. So this is kind of close the project out. And it's, that change order is, as you can see, was a deduct of $500. It's basically to close the project out. Anything to add on that?
No.
And it's just, I think the bad part is just we were waiting so long to get paperwork from them to get this. And it wasn't on FRK, it was elsewhere that we were waiting so long.
Motion to approve change order number 1 for Howard Lakeview reroofing project.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the change order. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Change order approved. Change order number 8 for high school addition project for $6,026.47. There's 3 different, no, I'm sorry, there's 4 if I remember. Yeah, there's 4 different subtasks in there, and I think most of these were talked about and give the okay at regular construction meetings.
Just to give a little bit of background on this, to kind of share the reasoning, a few of these items are actually safety issues. adding some additional brick and coating to the ramp and the stairs in that commons area. I don't know if you remember, we had some concerns about the polished concrete and how slippery that might be, so kind of adding that there, and approving an additional electric strike door. My understanding is that works with our fire system, those electric strike doors, is that right? Or am I-
Yes, and with our key card system.
And our key card system. Then, one of them was the bulkhead in the cooler. You gotta approve a bulkhead. I think that's something that happens in most construction projects.
We have one at every,
And that'll actually, that was an issue where the cooler didn't go all the way up to the ceiling. So this will close it off to make it more efficient. And then the removing soil from the parking lot piece.
The soil was an old dumping ground when Centerville had a seashell button manufacturing company. If they know the Centerville history, there's a lot of that, those oyster shells that were dumped in there with buttons punched out, and we thought that it just wasn't stable material for the parking lot. If you don't know your Centerville history, you may not know that happened, so.
Motion to approve change order number 8 for high school addition project.
Sorry.
we have a motion second to approve change order number 8. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Approve FRK contract for Howard re-roof hail damage project.
This is actually kind of an older, it's our oldest hail project we're working on right now. This is last summer, it received some damage from hail, and we need to re-roof the vast majority of that building this upcoming summer. So we're working to get our ducks in a row to be able to go out to bid on that and get on people's schedule while they're still open.
And in this, we need because we anticipate to be over $190,000, we do need, by state law, an architect to do the architecting for this, so.
Am I missing anything on that, Aaron?
No. Basically, for Howard, it's the entire building except for the old gym that we replaced last summer. So basically, the entire building will get re-roofed, which is
Under insurance,
under insurance.
that's a good thing.
Not the circumstances that you hope to get all of our roofs done under, but it has done quite a few roofs.
There was a lot of areas that, even before that hail damage, we really needed done, so this is a, thank God.
Okay,
Motion to approve SRK architect contract for Howard re-roof hail damage project.
we have a motion second to approve the FRK architect contract for the Howard. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And I think Ms. Schofield's pretty happy about getting a new roof. Approve item F, approve FRK architect contract for athletic field design.
So at our last meeting, we talked about kind of pushing forward with both sides of the baseball debate a little bit. Our next step on the potential building would be to have a visioning time with some of our local baseball folks, our athletic folks, and the design FRK, the architect. At one point, I wasn't sure if we would need to use an architect or not, but as I kind of talked to Mrs. Hanfield from Washington, she said, yeah, definitely, this can't be broken down, and it's all part of the same project, so to make sure we go through that channel there. And Rochelle was very happy to work with us on the design. The contract that you have in front of you in your board packet is, it's actually for an hourly rate. Now, if we decide to build a ball field, she'll then wrap that back in as just part of the cost of building the ball field. But if we would decide to wait a couple of years or decide not to build, then they would just charge us based on that hourly rate in order to get a design together, so.
So,
I actually don't have it yet, she hasn't given it.
Oh, I apologize.
yeah, my question is, I saw Howard, but not the, but her hourly rate schedule is gonna be the same.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we've worked with, pretty reasonable. And this is just what we need in order to get to the next phase. We have I would say she's taken designs she's done and placed them on the land that we're looking at, out at All Play for that. But to really truly get into design of our own stadium, she's gonna have to do a little bit of.
So can the board basically approve the hourly rate without knowing the not to exceed number?
I would think we could. What do you think?
How would the board feel about that? Because we don't have the actual document.
We don't have the actual contract?
No, we don't, she hasn't done it to us, I guess.
Let's table this till we get a contract.
Yeah.
That would be, my motion would be to table.
That seems fair.
Yeah, yeah, because I didn't see that one in here, I didn't, when I read the board pack, I didn't know if we get it on the table or not, so. Okay. So basically, we're just going to, the motion is basically by board consensus, we're just going to table this item.
I apologize, I was
That's
out
okay.
today, so I
No,
didn't
it's
follow
okay.
up on
Well,
that
it's
like I
Danielle's
wanted
got,
to.
she's got to get it to us, so. Not your fault.
Do we need a motion to table or just table?
I think you can just table,
I think
however.
we're just table it by consensus. All right. Approve emergency Lakeview roof repair estimate.
So there were two, shared, did that go off via email, Lisa? Am I recalling that right?
No, but they have that on the table.
On the table. Karen, would you want to talk to this a little bit?
Yeah, so basically, July 2nd, we had a major windstorm, and I'm working with EMC on, with the adjuster and everything like that. Basically, how it happened is, with this windstorm, it basically, on the Howard Band Road, Lakeview Band Road, this windstorm actually lifted the roof off of. You can actually see it lifted up and then it slammed it back down. After investigation with the insurance company, had an engineer come out, and a contracting company did all their inspections and everything like that. They ruled that the actual exterior wall was never properly attached to the roof. There were supposed to be some studs connected to the I-beams on the plate. Those studs are non-existent, so that roof was never attached to the wall. But the insurance company is going to do their own legalities with the contractor. But basically, this estimate here is just to shore it up temporarily to make it safe. Because right now the exterior wall isn't attached to anything. Nothing's holding it up. One good windstorm will knock it right in. So these are basically emergency repairs to shore it up. This estimate, I think, if we would go with the cheaper estimate, I think that's Saddle. I think it was sand belt. They would charge us, I think it was just around $7,000 to install the braces, and then it would be a monthly fee until the permanent fix is resolved. It would be a monthly fee of, I think it was $1,600 a month to rent those braces for that time being. It's looking from the insurance that this is going to be a long process. This is a very large claim. From what they're telling me, that they're going to have to eventually bring in a crane, take the roof off. All of the trusses and I-beams will have to be replaced because they're all bent. They're going to have to rebuild the wall, build a new roof to go back onto it. So it's a very large project. Right now, we have the east hallway closed down and barricaded off per the engineer's request for safety reasons. We don't, as of right now, they don't recommend using this space at all. It's very unsafe at this time. But this estimate would give us the temporary shoring needed to make this safe, make this place safe.
So when they short, all those loose bricks up there, those loose blocks, are gonna be somehow secured?
Somehow, yes. Basically what this shoring is doing is basically just shoring the roof with the exterior wall. That way now, with another storm, nothing's going to cave in or move again. Of course, this is not going to be pretty, it's not going to look great, it's not going to be anything like that. This is just to make it safe and have no future damages. What they're worried about right now is one more windstorm, which we just had one about a week or two ago, and I was nervous as hell. But is that roof what they're worried about? Because it's attached on the east side, but it's not on the west side. Is that roof literally coming up and landing on the rest of our building, which would be a whole other.
Okay. So tell me again, what do they believe was not done right? So I've been in there, so the trusses and the block wall,
Yes. there were supposed to be studs installed currently inside the block wall, attaching it to the trusses. Those studs are not there. They were
So is
never-
that like rebars in to make an attaching point?
Basically,
in the
yes.
block?
They,
Okay.
they would be welded to the actual plate that is on the truss, and those were never installed.
So I know there's welded plate on the high school, so it's similar to the way those trusses went in, that was what was supposed to be done and it has not been done. Okay.
And from talking with the adjuster and engineer, there's no legal action we will take to the contractor. They will do their own legal action to investigate the contracting company to try and recover some of their money back.
Okay.
But this is 100% covered.
So we're all insurance, and they're gonna go back on the contractor to see if they did, or the architect to see it was designed properly. Okay, so we don't have to mess with that, that's good.
No.
So did I miss something? Once this is done, you can use that area again?
I think probably technically, I would not recommend it.
Okay.
And I don't think the engineers are gonna recommend it,
Okay.
not until the permanent fix is complete.
That was.
You can use the hallway.
But this, yes, we'll be able to use the hallway at that point. But this was what the engineer mentioned to me. He told me to get on this as fast as I possibly could, which is why I tried to have a board meeting. Is because he said he legally had an obligation and a moral obligation to submit all this information he had to the state. If we didn't do our job to make this safe in a timely manner, then the state would get involved. So this is basically what that is.
So we're basically approving them to come in and get going.
Yes. For a temporary shoring, that way we don't have any more future.
When would they start?
Hopefully within the next week.
Okay.
That's my.
How long do you think it's gonna take them to do this?
Oh, I wouldn't think it'd take them more than a couple of days.
Okay, so before school starts?
That's my hope.
Are they committed to that?
They have not committed.
Okay.
So when you put a new roof on, is that maybe next summer, or is that this legal challenge gonna take a while?
I don't think the legal challenge is gonna hold our fix up. It's mainly just why they've gotta come up with their cost estimate, how it's gonna get done, then we have to go through, we're gonna have to go through another architect thing. And I'm estimating this to be about $600,000-$700,000 fix. And so it's gonna be a major, I mean, how they mentioned they're gonna have to put it in there.
So we're still gonna have to go through the architect design and contracting and bid letting?
I believe so.
Okay.
Well, it'll probably be an occupancy issue at that point if you pull the roof off and turn the roof
It'll
down.
be next summer, yeah.
Spring or summertime?
Yeah, it'll have to be probably something.
And I'll tell you, the FRK is already, Rochelle, she's already gone down there and looked at it, she's aware of it, Kevin from my state, not saying that we can give them the contract without a bidding process, but they've all gone down there and looked at it, and they're in concurrence with basically, yeah, this is,
Which, this Sunbelt estimate was actually through Bi-State.
yeah.
Now, Bi-State's not going to tack on any of their fees or anything, but they found this company to help me get an estimate for that, and that's who I got it from.
They've been, my point is, they've been very helpful and responsive to the needs on that building, even though, you know, they're not contracted to do anything, they're just, you know, as friends of the district right now.
Yeah.
So, says an awful lot about them.
Yeah.
As a point of procedure, in some of these cases, since the insurance company is paying us, they may be the one that hires the architect and all that, so we may not go through that process.
They've mentioned that they would hopefully cover the architect fees and everything like that to go through all of this for the permanent fix.
Yes.
Now, of course, like the real good thing that Mark and Lisa did, I believe the board approved this, was from what Mark was telling me, on July 1st, the rates for EMC went up to 2% of what the
Right.
building cost, which would have been about $200,000 deductible. Well, they bought the buy-down insurance, which brought it down to $10,000, effective July 1st. Well, this damage occurred July 2nd. So we got very lucky.
We're probably still gonna have to approve a contract with FRK. We're still gonna have to go out to bid. We're still have to have, you know, approve a contract to let that done, and then EMC is gonna pay the cost.
Good, yeah.
And there was even more damage. I think we've already covered the $10,000 deductible, because there was damage to our shingle roof as well, which has already been repaired. There's damage to the flashing on the gym. I'm working on a contractor to get that repaired as well. We have a door in the, because of some of the leaks that was caused by this, a door that was swelled and is now ruined that I'm working on getting replaced in the kindergarten wing. So I think we've already pretty much covered our $10,000 deductible. So all of this will be 100% covered.
They're doing that with the playground equipment out there?
No.
All right. So the action item is approve the emergency Lakeview roof repair estimate. Does anybody have any more questions on that one?
And you're recommending we approve Sunbelt, right?
There, and I actually went over this estimate with the adjuster. We talked about them. We went over every estimate thoroughly, and he said there's a significant cost difference, and he said they're doing the same job.
Okay.
Well, this is for first onsite and Sunbelt, right?
First onsite is the more expensive one. The cheaper one's Sunbelt.
Got it. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve emergency repairs with Sunbelt Rentals to shore up the Lakeview music room.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the Sunbelt agreement as outlined by Aaron, and we have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? That's approved. Thank you, Aaron. You do a ton of work, and it's appreciated.
Thank you.
I think you're doing more than you ever imagined you would do in this job.
I am.
And just for the board perspective, well, I think you're doing an awesome job, so thank you very much.
Tim didn't tell you that, did he?
There's a lot that wasn't told.
The old bait and switch.
All right, item H is to approve the second reading of board policies 300. We've gone through these before, so let me get to that portion. So with that, since we've already gone through them and it's fairly short, I will take any additional comments by, instead of going through all board policies item by item. Does anybody have anything to add or any questions on Board Series 300?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the second reading of Board Policy Series 300. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. Item I, approve the agreement with HUB for GASB number 75, OPEB requirements. And I know what this is, but I'm gonna let Lisa explain it. So it has to do with benefits.
GASB 75 OPEB requirements, which means other post-employee benefits. So every 2 years, we are required by law to have this valuation report. Since it's a contract, I'm asking the board to approve. It's just an actuarial report on medical, dental, vision, employee benefits that the district would have liability for. So I have to have this for my audit.
Motion to approve the hub, along with GAS, requirements. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the HUB GASB 75 OPEB. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Item J, approve participation in federal and special programs, consolidated grants, and appoint program contacts.
Kind of an annual update that we do each year, this time of year. Most of these are the same as before. Carl Perkins will be Jenny Donald's now. Let's see, trying to think if there's anything else that's odd in here. We'll have Lauren Baker as our level 1 investigator. She's our new middle school counselor, with Ann Morgan as an alternate, and Julie Caraccio as our level 2 with Ann Morgan as an alternate. One thing that we found, and one thing that I've learned in trainings, is that you're not actually supposed to call on law enforcement and your county attorneys to be your level 2, because they're another level that somebody eventually might work with on something.
Okay.
So this gives us some people as alternates in there.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a Motion second to approve the participation in federal special programs and appoint program contacts. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now, looking at item
I
K,
got ahead of myself, sorry. Yeah, K is the one with the level 1 investigators. Sorry. My
they're all,
bad.
well, they're all on the same sheet in here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and just go ahead and approve that one.
Motion approved.
Motion second to approve application designated investigators and alternate investigators along with investigators. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. L, approve the 2080 agreement with updates for Kids World, and this is basically funded through state monies.
Julie, anything you want to add?
No, nothing changed.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second to approve the 2080 agreement with Kids World. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Approve the CETA school contract. This is state money and direct paid by the state for the CETA Head Start program.
Just saves us spots if we need it. my
Yeah, and they
understanding,
use
right?
our food service and things, it's just all that. It's the same as it was last year.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second to approve the CETA preschool contract. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? CETA contract's approved. All right, approve the support staff handbook.
Couple small changes, just updating the year and keeping the support staff leave language, it's the same as the language that we got during negotiations. We cleaned up a little bit of ambiguity in some of the language during negotiations, wanted to have that clean for our non-certified folks. The family illness provision, allowing for 5 sick leave days to be used for an employee in the event of an illness of a family member. Trying to think if there's anything else big, I don't think there's anything else really major, is there?
No, I do want to point out that I did not insert the updated support staff schedule that has already been approved by the board, so I need to put that into place.
So basically, this is the changes on page 10 that were approved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's, page 10 has all the changes.
yeah. Just trying to keep the language clean everywhere.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second to approve support staff handbook. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Building handbooks. Now, I will say this to our building superintendents. It is probably the cleanest looking handbooks that we've seen in being not just language, but also formatting. So kudos to the three of you and whoever you got to help you, because this has been a board issue for a long time, making it look better. And so,
Mark Taylor recommended that and asked us all to do that, so.
This is based on the Iowa Association of School Boards exemplar handbook, so the language in here will line up with our board policy as we've been making those changes to line up with the exemplar there. Which the nice thing for our principals will be, if we have to make a change because of state law, it refers back to board policy, so they don't have to go through and dig for the 12 places that's in the handbook in the future.
I liked how they seemed really consistent with each other. That was nice.
The exception I found was that the Lakeview handbook makes no mention of cell phones.
I didn't notice that. No, that, it does.
Did I miss it?
It, doesn't it talk about how they're not to be
That's
out?
Brian.
Oh, Lakeview.
Lakeview.
You're right. I don't know.
I thought that was in there.
I didn't see it in Lakeview's, but I did see it in middle school.
It might be there, maybe I missed it.
Electronic and technological devices.
I think it's on electronics. I'm trying to remember, because now all of them are in there.
Yeah.
But I'll
think-
have to go look.
And I think so too, but what the rule is they just put them in their bags off in the classroom, or in their lockers in the classroom.
That's why I'm.
That's
All of them are
about-
popping up in the same.
No,
spot.
that's at Lakeview.
It's at Lakeview.
That's what I was saying.
I think that has been.
They're in their
No, we
bags,
strongly
off in
recommend
their
that personal
lockers.
electronic
Right.
devices not be brought to school.
Right.
Cell phones may be brought to school, but they must be turned off in the student's book bag.
That's at Lakeview.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and is that the same for Howard? Did I understand that correctly? What's it?
Howard's gonna be in their lockers, because they
Should
don't
be slightly
have like,
different based
bags
on-
in their rooms, they're
Right.
gonna be in their lockers.
Wish I would've had a cell phone back in my days in Missouri.
And then the high school will be,
And then high school, in my opinion, because you allow them to have it between classes, before school, after school, and lunchtime, it's game on every time the bell rings. If we have a no cell phone policy, why don't we have a no cell phone policy? I see. If anyone in here can explain to me how a cell phone in a student's hands enhances our instruction, improves our delivery, gets kids to pay attention.
They're not allowed during class time.
I know, but like I said, every time the bell rings, it's game on again. The kids got them out, we gotta get them put away.
So this is currently mirrored off of the policy that, you've probably read about a school in Des Moines that famously created a no cell phone policy. This is the same policy.
I didn't think much of that one either.
Yeah, this is that same policy, is that. So I mean, just to kind of talk about, you're seeing a lot of people go on the news and like, look how awesome we are, no cell phone policy. Well, that means no cell phone in class. You can still have it in the lot hallways, in the cafeteria. That's what generally those policies have been. Yeah, I don't disagree that tighter policy would be useful, but I also think that could be an enforcement nightmare too at times. If it's in the locker or in the backpack, I mean, would we rather our teachers focus their time on teaching kids in their classrooms and being focused on that, or policing? I think I see the outline of a cell phone in your pocket in the hallway. And I guess that's my concern with, if we go crazy on this, how far we go.
If you see it out, then it's gone. You can have it in your backpack, you can have it in your pocket, you can have it in your locker. I don't care where it is, I just don't want to see it. Is the way I think would be easiest to enforce.
In the moment, it might be. However, the relationship with parents is gonna be
Well, again, I can
very
imagine
fractured
as a
from that.
teacher, trying to police that.
Okay, my experience as a teacher is that if I gotta make sure that the kid has had his cell phone out in the hallway, and he's rushing into my class, and I gotta make sure it's put away, wouldn't it be easier to say, I'm not supposed to see it out at all, okay? Which would be easier to enforce.
Speaking of cell phones,
I'm sorry, that was ironic.
So, I mean, I'll go any way you wanna go with it, but I
think Mike, in a perfect world, I would be 100% no cell phones allowed once you enter the door. I don't think that's something that is practical. I think this is a practical approach. I agree. I think it's 100%. I'd like to see them gone out of schools.
10
But-
years ago, we had the perfect world then, didn't we?
Yeah.
20.
So,
It's been a while since you and I.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, honestly, the world functioned without a cell phone for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
The world has changed, we have to
The world has
adapt.
But the world has only changed because technology's changed. But at the same time, that student's attention span, their ability to focus, that has not changed. And if you have, the more distractions you have, the harder it's gonna be. Now, I'll be willing to start off this way, and if it doesn't work, then we'll tighten it up.
But we're also not in one-room schoolhouses with chalk slates doing reading, writing, and arithmetic anymore.
You know what, a cell phone hasn't done anything for education.
I would agree with that.
It has not.
I'd say they're a problem.
For kids
but
in general.
I also think we have to realize that, you know, we're talking about high school students, and they're about to launch out, and they do need to learn that there are appropriate and inappropriate times. And if the policy is not during class, and they bring it out, then that's gonna be a disciplinary issue that they're going to get the consequences. But I think let them have it at lunch at that age, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But,
Focus on the problem and not.
yeah.
I was wondering with the consequences, there was like a first, second, and third offense. Is it like per class, is it per, how's that?
So I feel like this policy allows for us to have really good umbrella of we don't have phones during class time because the focus should be listening and learning and communicating with your peers during that time in a educational way. But it does allow for a little bit of wiggle room for teachers who might want to handle things a little bit differently to do so. So what I think teachers need to understand is that the expectation is that we don't use cell phones during instructional class time. That's non-negotiable. So that cannot be altered. However, the way you handle disciplining those kids in your classroom or your relationship with kids on what they're doing with that phone, this gives the teacher a little bit more authority. So if a teacher wants to have students put phones in a bag or a box or an organizer on the door, I can support that underneath this policy, if that makes sense. So
I live with a teacher who has a box that as you walk in, you put
Yeah.
yourself one of the
Are we
boxes.
providing those things?
That works really well. We've talked about whether we need to, I think we wanna see what staff want when they come back, knowing
Yeah.
that this policy is gonna be something that we're really enforcing in the classrooms. And if somebody even comes in October and says, what I've been doing doesn't work, then
Right.
we've got money and we wanna provide what they need. I like those, I showed the board the wooden box with the, like, little door on it, I think those are pretty nice.
So that's it, something simple.
Shoe organizers, yep.
But again, we want to make it
Yeah.
nice and professional.
Yeah, for those rooms especially, the nice new rooms we've got. But I, like Jenny's saying, I mean, trying to give some autonomy to your teacher of how they do that is a good thing. That really does come in handy. Because then there's some, as soon as you give up your authority as the teacher, like, well, they make the rules and I just have to do it exactly how they say, then what's the point of listening to me until one of them is here to be the one to tell me what to do? So putting the power back in the hands of our teachers is a big deal.
I would hope that teachers would support one another by being consistent. And if this policy says no cell phones in class, I would really, if I was in charge and a teacher wasn't doing that, I'd be all over that.
I think that's a big conversation that we need to have as a large staff when they return, because there's a lot more power in everybody being on that same page, but it's hard when the teachers are the ones having to have these hard conversations. But the reality is, if we can all be really consistent up front with this, by the time we get to October, November, it will be the way we do things. So
There you go.
I agree with you 100%. The real challenge is getting all of the adults on the same page. And I don't think that we don't want to be on the same page. It's just hard. And sometimes you feel like you're the only person having that challenging conversation. But reality is, if we are all having those challenging conversations, we'll make a lot more progress.
And this is a tough issue because we have different ideas coming from homes in
Absolutely.
our community as to what's a good policy. When we've enforced policy in the past, we've had parents tell us, well, there's nothing you can do, and my kid's coming with the phone. And that's the way it's gonna be, because if there's something bad that happens, he'll have his phone with him. And obviously you enforce the rule as it is, and you do what you need to do, but there's a wide variety of opinions on what ought to be done with phones among the parents in our district as well. So I think we just wanna, this policy gives us the chance to make sure that instructional time is effective, and if we see problems outside of instructional time, we can continue to address those, but this keeps what ought to be sacred in the schedule, sacred in the schedule.
Motion to approve that,
Wait,
Excuse me.
which one?
all of them.
Well, I have some questions.
Go ahead.
The high school handbook, actually, it's page 35 of the handbook, and I don't know what page of the packet it is,
Okay.
somewhere in there. But on page 35, when we're talking about the penalties for the good conduct policy,
Okay.
it talks about the first offense is 25% of the next season or combination of seasons, that kind of thing. Is that a change from last year? It seems like last year it talked about up to 25%, and then there was a lot of wiggle room in there.
It's a
Yes.
self-reporting.
Yeah, I noticed that addresses that kind of later, but
You are correct, that is a change, and here's why. The exemplar from the state for the 500 series, which you'll be getting in the next week or so, does not include that up to language.
okay.
So we did have to make a split decision on how do we get this in the hands of our families, the way that it's going to be enforced after because I would assume that we would wanna have consistent expectations for all of our students.
I
And
think
one
that's
thing,
a good change.
yeah, one thing that has happened, I won't say has happened, but a perception that people have had is that based on who you are, the words up to might matter a little bit more. It might be, oh, you're gonna get it a little light because you're good at this.
Yeah.
And, well, you're not really good at this, so we'll give you the full punishment. And our expectation is that we're consistent to everybody. And I think, so you're right, that is a change. I forgot about how that went down.
I think that's a really good change.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, all right. And then on page 38, where it talks about attendance and academic requirements, and item 2, where it talks about the student should be in school the entire day of performance to be able to participate. You know, what about excused medical? Like, you know, let's say you're going to the orthodontist on a game day, because that's when you can get in, that's when your parents.
I can speak to that, Mark.
Thank you.
It falls underneath allowing that type of absence. This is unexcused absences.
Okay, does it talk about that? The
Says an
difference?
exception shall be cleared through administration.
So
they
if there's
have-
it's like if there's an appointment or something like that, that would obviously qualify for clearing it through administration.
Okay, so they have to get that cleared ahead of time.
Well, I don't know about ahead, I mean, I'm gonna say there are exceptions to all kinds of pieces, so if it makes sense to be something that it is a reasonable reason for a student to be gone, it's gonna be cleared,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I think there's maybe some miscommunication out there about, you know.
Yeah, it
You
came
know,
out of.
you're gonna be gone, then
It
you don't.
came out of some people disagreeing during one of the sports parent meetings.
Okay.
And not
Okay.
maybe hearing how Mr. Johnston was explaining that very well.
Okay. All right. So if I'm asked about that, I can say, you know, they have their medical appointments, those will be excused.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't mean to be so picky, but.
No, that's good.
I just wanted to
I'd rather have you
understand.
clear it up, Carol.
Yeah.
Just clear it up. Yeah, that's good. It's all good stuff.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
I made the motion to approve the handbooks.
Second.
We have a motion second for the handbook. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm gonna tack something onto this conversation about the handbooks. This is kind of related to the cell phone and the whole thing. Whoever's been doing all the Facebook building stuff, excellent job. I mean, I assume it's a principal of each building, or I don't know who it is, but all these updates and information, and it's been really nice.
It's been the whole team.
It's been great.
Jared Johnston has probably done the lion's share of the stuff with visuals. I think Brian Baker is trying to compete with him to get to that high number. But Jared's beating him right now.
That's because they cook with cell phones in their hands. There it is.
These young folks.
But it's so nice, I just think everybody's, you know.
Yeah,
it's
that's
such a
been
big
good.
deal. I know Kevin.
No, that's okay. That would have been a great takeaway, by the way.
Oh.
Darn, can I say that again?
I didn't hear anything.
P, approved beverage agreement with activities for Mahaska. You should have that on the table.
So we had, we received from both Mahaska and Atlantic a request to have an exclusive beverage agreement. And we believe at this time that the deal with Mahaska best suits our purposes and comes with some upfront money to help us be able to seed the weight room work. So they're similar in the total amount of dollars that we collect, but similar in the amount of the cost of the soda that we'll sell and what we've got. Did you want to add anything, Chris, kind of about your company?
Oh, you're from Mahaska. Okay, I was wondering who you were.
If you guys don't mind, I know it's a serious subject, but.
You made a trip over here and you've been sitting patient.
Thank
Go ahead
you.
and talk to us.
Well, there's a little background, I might play into what you guys have been talking about a little bit. I've been with Mahaska for 27 years, I started delivering pot down here. When I first started, 22 years, I've been a route manager taking care of Centerville High School at the same time. So I've been with us all the way through the new concession stand to the new ball fields. We have a program called Do It For Your School. That's how all the money gets generated, instead of us arbitrarily handing out money for Albia or whatever. 30 cents of all the sodas we sell in our 10-county area, the money goes into a fund for schools that sell Mahaska products to draw upon. And then your percentage against the other schools compared to Alvin, Sheridan, whatever, that's the one each year runs from August, July, comes about to where, say Centerville, the last 5 years, about $3,500. You have that, your fund, no contract, nothing at all. In fact, I went back from 1995, that's the last I could find, that we sold concession soda at Centerville High School. All the way since then, all the way to 2024, for this past summer, we've been selling soda there. Contract from 95 to 2005 was the only one we had at that time, and yet it's up into 6 figures, what Mahaska has donated. It's Mahaska's money to donate, but in a way, you can look at it as Centerville has earned it because of the portions of the fund that they have earned it by selling concessions. 18,000 for the, I think it was football field, 15 for the Hall of Fame, I think it was 2012. I think if memory serves, the concession stand was part of the large donation also. Again, part of all that's earned through selling this program out there. It's very versatile. In fact, Mark called me a couple days ago and asked, there's no such thing as a bad contract in like this here. It's 20,000 for 5 years. You guys average over the last 5 years, 3,500 per year. Have a little bit in there now, because that works out to 17. There's still some money in it, because we end up here, we figure it up at the end of each July. So we're still working on figuring for the past concession season. So there's money there, we'll still be able to do after proms and all that kind of stuff. But yes, what do you do if, say you get it early, say you earn the 20,000 in 3 years? Is there such a thing? Are you guys not going to be available? No, that money still earns it. In fact, 1995, it was a 10-year contract, and you guys got it paid off in 2003, and you started earning money, getting money, drawing upon that right after that. So there's no such thing as a good or bad contract in it. You're going to get your $20,000 up front, like Mark said, but it's kind of weird. You had said a friend, one of the groups is a friend of the district. All those donations, Mahaska did all this without a contract, kind of a handshake deal over the, done the way business is kind of, folks have been around a little bit, kind of the way business is meant to be done. And it's kind of been, Centerville School District has earned theirs, and Mahaska has gotten Centerville's kids to try their products or use their products. So I think it's kind of the way the business is supposed to work on both sides, where both sides win.
This will include some of our concession, vending machines in like teacher's lounge and things of that nature. And
yeah, Mahaska Markets is a sister company. It started up since I've been there. I've taken care of all the concessions like down in Lakeview. Heard a couple, got question on Centerville teacher's lounge. We'll put them in there, and that's a double plus. I thought after we had spoken, that counts as the percentage of what Centerville sells, just like the concessions do. That counts in that percentage. But also you get paid commission, so in that case, double dip. You get 10% from Mahaska Markets for selling the soda out of there, because you don't get invoiced for that. You just get percentage of vendor price. And yeah, it still counts if you do it. So it's actually a win-win, and that's something that our competitors don't offer. They don't have a Mahaska Markets type setup or Snack Express. So yeah, that was the history of it, how to do it for your school works, and then I did want to make one other point. In today's day and age, back when I was playing ball, it was booster clubs took care of everything. Now that it's got dumped into athletic director's hands, the way Mahaska does it is a lot very conducive. That's why I think a lot of folks, and we have a 10-county area we sell pop, and I would say roughly we have 80% of the schools, because the way the last couple of years we have somebody come down and actually, like on Tuesdays, check the concessions, deal with Steve Clark or Rich Parker or whoever's at Jared this coming year, athletic director, or Heather, if she's the whoever's available at our contact, make sure we got the schedules right, places the order for Tuesday for Thursday delivery. The athletic director can do what he's meant to be doing or she's meant to be doing instead of dealing with concessions. So it's very user-friendly, and you have the athletic director or the administration will have direct access to me, which in today's day and age, we all know businesses are shying away from that, trying to make it difficult to talk to people that work. Why that is, I don't know, but everybody, in fact, this year Steve Clark texted me that he's got an extra event popping up to the play. So all we have to do is add the order on, and we get delivered there by Thursday. So it's very user-friendly in today's day and age where a lot is being asked of a lot of folks that work on the back.
Any questions for me?
We did not run out of Pepsi.
We've done pretty good at that. I can't say we've been perfect. Sometimes the early football games, it's amazing the crowds that come out for that. But
You know, once a Pepsi machine in the admin building, throw some Diet Dew.
Honestly,
You and I would keep that thing fun.
9 of the 10 things just need to be Mountain Dew and we'll solve it.
Yeah.
Just don't put your credit card thing on it.
Oh, my.
I guess on the equipment for Exhibit C, is that defined what is coming into the district or?
I think that's what currently is there. Because other than talking briefly about the additions of the new school and the new teachers lounge, that hasn't been factored in. We just went off of the current equipment we have. But you're not locked into that. Just like our past history, pretty user-friendly. We'll get you what you need.
Where do you want the machine at?
I was thinking in my head where all the machines are right now, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm trying to count things up like the double door coolers and that, so the football concession stand, you got Lakeview concession stand, you got Howard concession stand, where all these things are. So making sure that we have availability for all those. Okay. So,
What do we have at the high school?
we haven't put anything at the new high school, that's one thing.
Yeah.
So,
That's
that
what I thought you were
was all
doing.
downstairs.
Yeah.
So, that was things I was looking at to make sure we weren't set on this number
Yeah,
for this
That's
contract.
just where we are currently, that we went off our records, we pulled up what we have where our equipment's all at. That's what we have currently at the center.
And we can started talking about what do we put in the high school teachers lounge and things
Yeah,
like that.
stuff like
Make
that.
sure we get them taken care of in there.
And Mass Markets is aware of that. That's obviously the large project.
Will the students in the high school have access?
So right now in our plan, we've got one that would be accessible to the students. I don't know if this one's able to be shut off during the day or how that works.
All these machines.
But that might be something that we wanna leave to Jenny to kind of decide on that a little bit. Cause a lot of places will get a pop machine that's student accessible, and then it won't vend during certain hours, so that students
Yeah.
are taking a pop down to the classrooms and stuff.
That's the way I used to set it up, was with a timer.
Yeah, so it seems like a smart move with those carpeted classrooms to not bring Mountain Dews and Pepsis in there the whole time.
Lunchtime,
Yeah, lunch is good.
So then at lunchtime, yeah.
it'd be available, yeah. Yeah, okay.
And thank you for the opportunity to let me come down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Board like to take action?
Make a motion to approve the agreement as presented with Mahaska.
Second. Motion second to approve the beverage agreement with Mahaska. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion approved. Thank you. Sir, coming over.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Item Q, approve personnel business procedures as in the board packet and on the table.
I will be abstaining.
A couple questions on that. On the assistant EDs, on the contract, it shows 188 days of service for both of them, but then on your sheet, it's got it as 261. How that's one clarification.
That is kind of a weird one, yeah.
Just make sure we're.
Well, I guess it was probably an oversight
Okay.
on the contract, probably. So we'll fix that.
Yeah, it looks like that maybe ported over from an admin contract.
So it would be 261 then?
Yeah, the funny thing about,
Assistant ED, I should say.
yeah, so it's really, it says 45 days of service on the actual contract there. So it's really about spreading some of that time out throughout the year. It won't be consecutive days, it'll be
Okay.
some hours here, some hours there to get to that amount. Jared has had some meetings with these two to discuss how they're gonna break down some of the activities this year. Yeah, we just need to fix that number. We'll get together and we'll fix that number in that.
Is there anything else on?
Thank you for pointing that out.
Motion to approve personnel changes as listed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the personnel business procedures. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And then Mike abstaining because his bus driver contract is in there.
Makes sense.
All right. And financial reports. So you get your bills in there. Lisa, anything to add?
Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, principal and directors reports.
So I think what's worked for us in the past is to start at the beginning and work our way up. So preschool, if you want to add anything you've got.
No, we're just excited to get the school year started, and if anybody still needs a preschooler enrolled in school, we have some spots available.
Okay. How are you feeling about the numbers?
A little better than last year, so good.
Okay. So you're feeling a little bit better?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing I want to mention was we started the summer program. I think Mr. Taylor mentioned that we got a grant from the state, and it's nice to notice the grant really was written in a way that it's this summer and next summer, and so we're kind of feeling the summer out because obviously we had a pretty short time frame to try to fit something in. So one thing that we looked at is how can we meet the biggest need in the shortest time frame, right, with qualified staff. So what I can say is that we had a lot of staff respond, associates, teachers. I mean, we had more than we needed this year, so that's good for looking at next year. And then we didn't know student-wise, and we had 32 kids kind of sign up. So we had about 6 missed today. This was the first day. We called them today, and they're all like, yeah, we're either sick or we're on vacation. We're going to be there tomorrow. So we do expect all 32 tomorrow. We've got a morning snack for them. I already heard good feedback from a couple parents that we were talking to about something else, and they said, yeah, my kid went this morning. They thought it was great. You know, they said that it's good to get back to school and then get things going. So I talked to the teachers, kind of a planning session, and the goal is how can we do great things for kids starting this year, and then how can we take this model and make it bigger for next year. So it's kind of nice to build it this way. So that's been a good thing. And it's going to go Monday through Friday this week, just so you know. So 9 to 11, Monday through Friday this week.
Okay. And how are you feeling about getting ready for that first year?
The what?
How are you feeling about being ready for the first year?
Oh, eventually you got to start. So I think it's great because I was talking to the secretaries that actually the summer program is nice for me too because I get to make 32 kids early. Right? I got to talk to a few parents and I got the staff coming back. So kind of gets us prepared too. But eventually you got to have kids come in and
Do you have
get
a
going.
band program location?
Yeah, we'll probably utilize, and the staff knows this, that we've got a spot for our music program to be out and the band program. We've got guidance for that. So.
Mr. Taylor can tell you about the good old days of how we used to.
Yeah, it probably goes back to kind of that. So the important things.
in that cafeteria.
Yeah, those cafeterias, yeah. We all know it's something we just all have to kind of band together and just get it done. Band together.
Any questions? Terry?
Well, I just shared that, as you saw, we have a number of teachers that are engaged in professional development this summer at Howard. I was excited about that. We went to 2 programs that were offered by the Department of Education. One was entitled Champs, and it was just about a lot of interactive things we could do with middle school kids to support positive behavior and decisions. And so I kind of shared that. We've got 12 teachers engaging in our book study. That's been really positive. As a result of that, then we talk about those best practices in middle schools and what we're doing at Howard and what kinds of things we need to tweak and look at and work through. Rhonda left us in really good shape with a lot of things, so we could just kind of step into that next. The grant program that we utilize with Gear Up is one of the things that I had planned last year with Andy Hotek to pay for with our Gear Up. We are going to engage in Character Strong. It's a new program at Howard. It's not a new program. It's well-versed, well thought of. Lauren Baker, our new guidance counselor, as I kind of wrote there, was really positive about it. She's really excited about it. So all of our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders will have core guidance this year. So they'll have that one period a week. And then what we are doing there, the themes kind of follow along, and we will incorporate that in our advisories. Some of the work, and I know, Carol, you probably know this when we talked like at Lakeview, like how the end of the last few minutes of a child's day is the most important parts of their day. So we are going to start with advisory in the morning, then we're going to go through our day, and then we save like 12 minutes at the end for all kids to go back to their advisory. And I know, I don't want people to keep thinking it's it's an elementary, but the truth is, when we know that research is so proud, let's get back with the people that you connected with to start the day, and then if I got bumps and buggles, hopefully the teacher will develop a relationship enough with me to know and can kind of help me. Also, we're just really putting into place that idea of like before we leave our room, we're all making sure our planners are filled out, just working on really teaching the kids the life skills that we know middle school kids struggle with just because of the way their middle school brains are not yet quite developed. So that's kind of our why for doing that. If you saw that and wondered, what were you thinking that for? It really kind of all came out of that. But our teachers have been great to meet and do a whole bunch of things. We met for PBIS last week for about an hour and a half, and all of them are volunteering their time to do that. So I just couldn't say enough good things about that.
All right, building's put back together, ready to go?
Oh my gosh, the building looks amazing, you guys. I say that all the time. We're so excited for you to see it and so excited for our kids to see it. Yeah, one student said the other day, they came in and they said, it just doesn't look like a prison anymore. That about broke my heart because they were talking about the hallways, how, they were that old yellow stone and now they're gray and they're sharp. So yeah, that kid was just helping carry some stuff in and said that. Look.
New lockers and.
Yeah. The rooms look great. The floors, tiles, all of it.
Oh, the new tile is it brightens it up quite a bit, so.
I've heard lots of teachers brag about the summer workers and all they've gotten done and how good it looks.
Okay. All right.
High school?
Yep.
So I failed to get you something in writing. I will do better next time. There are so many things to talk to you about. I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to highlight a few things, and then I'm certainly open to questions if you have some. I had a really good first meeting with our building leadership team today. We really talked about a lot of pieces that we want to make sure we put into place at the beginning with some new opportunity here to really instill some different feelings of culture in our building. So we talked a lot about scheduling to make sure we have those pieces right, and just supervision in the new pieces, in the new places. Really worked on advisory and what we want that to look like, sound like, and feel like for kids. Not punitive, but something that's a support. Learned that we don't have a librarian. This was new learning for me last week, late in the week. So we've had a few kids that have been fantastic. They came in and took some advice from our public librarian here in town and have put books on shelves. So they've done awesome. Really proud of those kids, and they've been really, really good about it. Our kids, I think, are excited to get into the building, which is a really good feeling. That's not necessarily the case all the time for high school kids. So the idea that there's some excitement to come see the new and get back at it is really refreshing. I'm still in the process of meeting staff. Met a couple more today that we just haven't had a chance to connect yet. Met with April Maldonado about the alternative program. I think we have a really good idea of how we want to move forward with some of those pieces, so I'm excited about that. And then obviously office staff is back to work, our counselors are back to work, so there's just a lot of things going on with scheduling students and just making sure that we're ready for that first day, so it's very busy. But kudos to, the construction is coming along. There's still a lot to be done. I know it's weighing heavy on Aaron, but really, regardless of whether it's ready, it's ready. We're gonna have kids, so we're gonna make it work and keep making adjustments along the way. I'm sure that's gonna happen regardless of how much we hammer it out here in the next couple weeks, so.
How does the library work? You got books.
We do have books. It was, the organizational pieces, it was a question of how we wanted to organize that nonfiction and fiction and what was going where and.
How do you check out a book?
Yeah, well, so we have a Follett system, so that will be the same, it's an electronic system to do that, but just in terms of so literally I walked into the library and there were, I don't know that I'm underestimating here, there were about 80 different sized boxes full of books in the middle of the library floor. And my question was, what's the plan for this? And then I learned that the plan was that the person who's in that space is gonna do that, but the person that's in that space is really only contracted for our district 1 day a month, and that wasn't gonna work for us. So the kids did a fantastic job. I was really grateful for Janelle Barth, came from the public library and walked us through some just general guidelines of trying to put the pieces together. But ultimately, the kids were fantastic and they've stuck right with it, and they're about to get it licked. So it's good.
I was in there last week and there were books flying out of boxes on the house.
So
A lot of them.
you're still using the follow system then?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Now, someone asked me about that here this week, and I said, yeah, as far as I know,
Yep.
I'll find out. And on that note, will we have a library at Howard?
Yes, you ought to see it.
Yeah.
We're excited to share that with you. And just a lot of generosity as a team to replace the bookshelves, that if we would have put the bookshelves in there, they would have stuck out like a sore thumb. And Mark and Aaron collaborated to find a resource to be able to provide for us amazing bookshelves. So in that room now, it's black and red and white, and that's the room where we will have our IJAG. And we're interviewing tomorrow for our IJAG person. We don't quite have that person lined up yet on our level. But, and then we've got a plan to be able to go in there and utilize the library and get the books flying off those shelves.
So you utilize the same follow system?
Yeah, we do that district-wide. It's
so, yeah.
much cheaper than the other system that was utilized at the other building.
Yeah.
$500 every library, it tracks the books and.
Yeah, it's a great
yeah,
system.
Yeah,
Okay.
very kid-friendly. I feel like the kids
Yeah.
got their cards, they know the system
You
and,
know,
yeah,
Okay, good, thank you.
yeah, we're excited.
The nice thing is those shelves that are gonna be at the Howard Media Center are gonna match the ones that are at the high school media center. So 30 years down the road, maybe when a couple of shelves are starting to fall apart, we need to replace the one, we can bring together and make sure we still outfit one really well that way. Maybe 40 years down the road.
And we just have to wait for a little bit for them to get here, so it won't look like, you might hear people
Right,
say
not yet, but
first
it's
couple
coming.
weeks.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
But it's a great space. And then our guidance counselors utilizing the other space that used to be, and that looks amazing. We painted that a nice gray and very calm, soothing atmosphere.
It's not 1,000 colors now.
That's a win.
I'm decorated by an elementary teacher.
Okay. Anybody else, Mark, you wanna?
Kate, you got a report, do you wanna add anything to your verbal, or your written report there?
I think that pretty much covers it, just, jumped in on this summer and, just learning a lot about the system with the state, claims, making sure we get all the money from the state. Really trying to work on the negative mail account balances. It's gonna be slow, but I think we'll see improvement.
Kate's making great progress on that, seriously, she's communicated with a lot of people and already started to put a dent in that.
Belinda's been working with her kitchen managers to get things ready. They're excited about the new kitchens that they have to work in.
Are they gonna do any type of, I know like in restaurants, you do a soft open, where it's kind of low key just to work all of the kinks. Are they gonna do anything like that in the high school?
I don't know.
Prior to the first day of school.
I didn't know if they were planning on,
Well, that first day of school does have a lower number of students, it's just freshmen and students new to the district, so it probably will be something to that effect. In terms of time to prep for that, I don't know if they'll have anything to do with.
The other thing would be reimbursable meals. You couldn't, if it's not a school day and you couldn't claim for reimbursable, so who's gonna be there to buy the meals?
I just don't know what their plan is to, I'm just thinking, first day, new kitchen, new school, is gonna be kind of rough.
I think,
Run a kitchen.
I have a really good feeling about it, about some of the things they've been talking about. They know what the menus are made. They're gonna have a couple of new offerings that are gonna be offered every day as meal options. They're working to be prepared for the additional number of students eating lunch at the high school due to the closed lunch. Linda and I have worked pretty closely over the summer to make sure that everything's in place, and they've got some good people in there.
Okay. Brad?
We got some guidance from the state today, finally, on some coding on Power School, so that's gonna, administratively, it's on the agenda tomorrow, we're gonna work through that, just talking to people at SAI. I think there's some Power School coding that we could change up a little bit that should more accurately reflect, our attendance numbers, so we're gonna work on that. I was able to finally get in contact with Ty Stewart, our new county attorney, on how he interprets these new laws, and now that the handbooks are done, I'm gonna submit those to him. Our attendance plans, he wanted to see those. So we're gonna stay in touch about how we work through this. There's some definite documentation steps that we'll have to work through. The other thing, I'm in the process reaching out to, I worked with Delaney today a little bit, reaching out to local businesses to try to get a feel of their attendance policies at their workplaces, just to try to collect some data and hopefully make it more relevant to our students and parents, and we have to have those conversations with them too, so.
That's a good tie-in, Brad, to bring the reality of the workplace into it. That's, I hadn't really thought about that, that's a good point, so.
Brad got to attend a really cool name session at School Administrators of Iowa. I think he said it was even a pretty good session.
Oh, the Avengers?
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
attendance Avengers
yeah.
assembled.
Oh, well, that's some good stuff in it.
I will not be wearing a Speedo to help with
Thank
that.
God.
Let's see, Cameron, do you have anything you want to add?
Thanks, breakdown fix. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Breakdown.
We're wrapping up on the door controllers and camera system. They're supposed to be here on Wednesday. Hopefully get all that done, and then I can put on all the computers. Printers are in and working. Had a few hiccups there, but we're rolling with those guys.
Awesome. And then it's an arm wrestle between Julie's curriculum side or Aaron. Let's let Aaron go first.
Mine's long, you want to come to okay. A little winded here.
This is long.
I'm gonna start with the construction side. The high school project is going smoothly as anticipated. The demo area is almost complete with the tear down. In the coming weeks, they will continue to hallway the remains and prepare to infill. I had worked with Rochelle and Kevin with Bi-State on the new edition punch lists. Bi-State is currently taking the corrective measures to fix those areas on the punch list. Those may take some time, but they know everything that they need to do. According to Kevin Bishop, we should have water back on in the existing building later this week. We hope, we better. The only foreseeable delay that is currently happening is for the supply of natural gas to the existing building. The delay is due to the availability of the boring contractor. Looking over everything, I don't see how this would be a major impact to the start of the school year. The only thing this will affect would be mainly the gas for the science labs and the science wing. We all knew this summer was a very tight timeline for the demo side of the project. And I believe Bi-State has done everything possible to be on track for the start of the school year. Before I move on to buildings and grounds, does anyone have any construction questions?
Yeah, so like, where we disconnected the buildings. So what's the plan, I guess, because this was never, I don't remember talking about this, the plan to, like, are we using some of the brick to put back on the building? Or
It's a
Just
metal.
be metal.
Okay,
Yeah.
and when is that anticipated? Because are we gonna still have a construction area when school starts there?
Yes, they, at where the fence is now, in front of the auditorium, we're gonna take that down and move it to where it's gonna start, right about where the elevator's at. So we'll have access to the auditorium. That should happen later this week, beginning of next week, we'll move that fence. But yeah, we will still have a construction zone for quite a while. It won't be accessible to students. All doors that lead into that area will be chained and locked.
Am I remembering right, October for that?
October,
Does that sound right?
end of
to you?
October is the end of the contract for my state. We're hoping it should be finished up by then. They've got some, where the old teacher's lounge is at, they've got some foundation work and walls to build in that area, to put it back together. And then before they can infill, there's a lot of foundation work that they've got to do before they can infill. There's a lot of stuff for Bi-State still to do, but it was all, this is how it was planned. It was never gonna be 100% put back together before school year started. It was just impossible timeline.
On the drawings, it does call for metal, that's like the round metal that's on the wing. That's gonna go up, I call it star. And so that's gonna be a facade there.
The picture I've seen looks, I mean, it looks pretty nice.
And I went over to Kevin a couple weeks ago, so.
I'll try to pull that picture, send it out.
So that side that faces north of the auditorium, where the windows and stuff are, will that still, is that coming down? The old windows from the old?
No, there's parts of it, like you can, we will still have a second floor on some parts of it. The reason we had to keep that, mainly because that hall going to the science wing, then also down in the basement, we have a pump room for the geothermal HVAC for the science wing that we had to keep. So there are parts of that building that we couldn't get rid of.
So it'll be a nice little time capsule.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool thing.
Speaking of
That is what that is, yes. Can't wait to see inside.
Okay, I'll move on to the longer part, building and grounds. I'm just going to kind of give an update on the summer project that we completed this summer. We replaced the winch system for the side basketball hoops in Lakeview Gym. Previously, we had one winch for 2 hoops, so there have been 2 winches total. We redesigned that because one of the winches was failing. So instead of just replacing that winch, we redesigned it all, so now every hoop has its own winch, and it's over the mezzanine, so it's easier to access if it ever does break. The total cost of this was $16,000. At Lakeview, the grass islands that used to be grass are now all rock to match the upper parking lot, so it's more of a uniform look, including the islands in the back parking lot as well. The total cost of this project was $13,000. ESCO Electric completed the first stage of updating the fire system at Lakeview. This is a 4-year project that we submitted to the state to get it all up to new code, have it all working just like the other buildings are. This includes installing new smoke detectors, heat sensors, pull stations, speakers, and strobes. They installed those in the south 3 classroom wings. The total cost of this was $23,000. The last areas we still have to update in the upcoming years are the library, kitchen, gym, and locker rooms. At the high school, we had to replace 2 compressors and a 97 edition chiller. The total cost of this was $29,000. And then on to the school that received the majority of the work, which was Howard. The north classroom wing, we abated the asbestos tile, replaced it with new floor tile. And the total cost for this abatement and new floor tile was $60,000 altogether. We tore out all the lockers in the entire building and installed new lockers. Previously, we had around 250 lockers, not even enough for every student to have their own locker. When we installed them, I made sure we had enough for growth. We currently have about 360 lockers, all brand new and red. The total cost of this project was $47,000. In the home ec room, we tore out all the existing gas lines and ran new electric for the 4 new electric stoves. This project is still ongoing, so I don't have a final price at this time. In the art room, we replaced all the cabinetry with new, and also added 2 new wardrobe cabinetries in the guidance office. This overall cost was $11,000. all classrooms were repainted to our new district standard color, which is passive gray. The total cost for this with some add-ons here and there were $18,000. Over the course of the spring and summer, we relocated the kitchen to where the kitchen originally was at back in the 1970s. The only piece that we are missing for this new kitchen is the new wall pack cafeteria tables. Those will arrive and be installed in the month of October. Overall, with the cost of the wall pack tables and kitchen remodel and relocation, the total estimated cost was just under $90,000. And last but not least, we tore out the existing and reinstalled new Howard classroom cabinetry, new to Howard cabinetry. We saved from the third floor of the high school in almost all of the north wing classrooms. We also installed some of this cabinetry in other parts of the district, including the bus barn break room at the F&F building, the drafting room and family consumer science 2 room at the high school, and we'll be installing some of the ag room this fall at the high school. According to my estimations and calculations, this saved the district a total of around $120,000. Wow. That's all I have. That's it.
You're doing an awesome job.
Appreciate it. Anybody have any questions?
That's a lot of work with a small staff.
It is. Try to do as much as we can. I extended myself a little bit this summer, but we got it done.
So Aaron saved us that much money and I spent it on curriculum. Good job, Aaron. So we spent, as you approved our social studies curriculum, it has been in, teachers have had some training, had some time to, were paid some time to go through it with their teams and things, and I think that has been really good, and they're really excited about that curriculum, especially in that social studies area where they have not had it for so long. A good resource, so I'm really excited for that. More of it came in just the last couple of days, so that's exciting. Another exciting thing is that McKinley Lane and I have been working what seems like a long time, but really just a few months, but we're going to offer a couple AP classes at the high school this year instead of just the college concurrent enrollment. So kids that can take the AP classes, then at the end of it can choose whether they would like to take a test to get them college credit. So that's an option, so they will get it if they want, but it doesn't have to be, but it gives them that extended learning. And McKinley emailed me today that both of his classes were approved through the AP board. So that's an exciting new adventure for us to allow kids a different opportunity that maybe don't want to go to a college class, but that opportunity to have that learning. So excited about that. We've been doing a lot of work as an admin team, and I'm super pumped about what we are going to accomplish this year in instruction. But one of the things that we've been looking at is lesson planning and creating a curriculum mapper so that we can share that online and share with families and you guys a little bit easier. So we did an add-on to our PowerSchool account that's going to allow us to do that in one spot. Multiple people can work on it. So we're excited about that. So more to come with that because I'm learning a lot about that too. It's not as easy as I was hoping it to be, technology, but we'll get there with Cameron by my side. It'll be fine. We have TQ coming up, which is Teacher Quality Day. We've normally done that at the end of the year, the last few years. Mark and I worked on the calendar to allow all of our new staff to come, which is why they start on Thursday, which will be a fun day. But on Monday, we're going to have Alexandra from Corwin, and we're going to talk about engagement. And she is a well-known national presenter with them, and we're going to talk about how to engage students. And so teachers will be paid an additional pay of that. It's not part of their regular contract, so it's optional. But we're going to do that out at the Faith Church because she wanted tables and presenting and things like that. So I'm excited to offer that. We have about half of our staff is RSVP to that, so I think it's a great thing for them, and I'm excited to continue to push that engagement of students in our classroom. So lots of new things happening and moving forward, but I think everything is ordered now, and I think everything is coming. Cameron and I have to work on some online pieces with every curriculum now comes with that, so that's a challenge in itself, but Cameron and I have a time to sit down and work on that tomorrow, actually. So I think we're good. A lot of good new things happening.
What classes are gonna be, what are the AP classes?
The pre-calculus class, AP Stats is what we're working on right now. There's some conversation about a few other APs, but we're starting with just a couple that we've already had, as in we've already had those types of classes, but they're gonna be considered AP now. So, had to purchase a couple new things.
You said pre-calculus?
Well, it's calculus, but it's the pre-version, so that it's calculus.
And
They call
McKinley's
it.
teaching those?
Yes. Yep. So they can get a credit for both of those. We've talked about, we have a biology class that could be considered AP, the advanced biology if we do a few things. Ryan Connor and I talked a little bit about psychology and sociology. Those are optional AP courses as well. So not doing those yet, but if this goes well and kids are in, and families are supporting it, then we'll continue to try to do some of that. The college board for the AP stuff is like Fort Knox. Jimmy and I worked really, really hard to get access, but we got it and it's approved, so it's, I'm really excited for that. And we have about 15 kids 16 kids in stats and not as many in pre-calc, but we'll get there. It's again, first year, first trying, so I think it'll just grow.
Any questions from the board? All right, thanks for all the report. Obviously, the school year is coming up and everybody's excited for it. And, it should be an interesting year with just a new building, redone building, new administrators in every building. I think there's, we got a great opportunity to get off to a really good start. It sounds like
You guys are getting ready, so thank you for all your hard work over the summer to get ready for the new year.
Mark, can you go over some of those dates that, like ribbon cuttings and that,
Yeah.
teacher
I
breakfast?
can do that.
It's his term for the superintendent.
I'll do that, I'll put that in my,
All right.
make a note of that.
Yep.
So, to transition from what you're saying, because that is what I wanted to go over with, folks, I gotta tell you, I am so excited about this team. We went to the school administrators conference last week, and if you were on the board when I was hired, apparently Trent told you he's gonna wanna talk about all the things he learned. And I do kinda wanna do that, but I think instead, let me just talk about the overall experience. A lot of times, the evenings of the school administrators conference, teams will go out and do dinners, they'll meet up with their cohort from when they went through principal school and everything. This team stuck together. The funny thing was, you might call us nerds just a little bit, because while other teams were like, remember this thing or that thing, we're sitting here like, okay, so this thing we learned today, how are we gonna do this when we go back? And our team, I looked over at 11 o'clock and our team was on the other end of the table and digging into how they were gonna do something that they'd learned that day. And I think this is a team that's just so on fire to learn new things and to have new ideas. And I think we really kind of push each other, that whole iron sharpens iron kind of thing. And I just can't wait to see what heights we can raise to with a team like this together. So that's the mushy-gushy stuff. Let me get into the facts and stuff here. So baseball field, for an update for you, it wasn't enough to be an agenda item, but I continue to have conversations with Indian Hills. We're working to pin down kind of a final, here's what it'll cost for the first 10 years, here's what it'll cost for the 10 years thereafter, and here's the items that are promised in terms of logos and things like that, and our role and what we kind of get out of it. Including, we've added to that conversation the bit about the practice field being a real concern for our younger kids, and they've been really open to that. Also, as you know from approving that contract, we've been working with FRK, with Rochelle, to build a design there and try to get that together. Right now, we have a meeting with, Coach Huseman, Jared, Daniel Hargrave, who's one of our assistant ADs, the folks from there, and I think I emailed asking maybe for a couple of board members. Derek, I think you said you were interested, to try to get together and do that visioning. We're gonna reach out to a couple of community members too, that kind of have their finger on the pulse of baseball in the community and try to figure out kind of their perspective on it, but just to kind of dream up what is it we would need and what is it we would want, so we can kind of get some room on what that would look like and what we can afford. Lisa and I received information from Matt Gillespie in terms of what our cash flow projections are. kind of a funny anecdote about that, actually. We both had a number in our minds that we thought we should keep as cash on hand. That would be a reasonably conservative number, and Matt Gillespie told us that we were too conservative. So our financial advisor told us to spend a little bit of money. So that was a different thing than I ever expected.
No, it's hard for Lisa here.
Yeah. I think we were both pretty shocked because we thought we were going too low, and he's like, "Oh no, that's way too much." Okay. We're continuing some work administratively and we're aiming for October 1st at this point to move to one Facebook page for the school district rather than various activity pages, various building pages, so that there's a one-stop shop. You know, if there's information that's pertaining to the district, you're gonna get it from here. The trick that we're working on is what items will get pinned, what items don't get pinned, how do we make sure relevant information stays up high enough for people as long as it needs to, because we're, as you kind of noticed, we're starting to shoot out a lot more information, which I think is good. So there is some idea that maybe some things would be secondary posted on, maybe we keep just the athletics and activities page as a secondary. Not sure about that, that's just one thing we've discussed as a possibility, yes sir.
I think one thing too, and you and I have had these discussions before, I think it would really be in our interest to look into like Aptigee.
Yeah, and I talked to them.
Developing an actual
Yeah, we had a whole thing.
Yeah, I can't remember when that was.
We had
some conversation with them about it. Kind of looked through one of their packages at one point.
And the only reason I bring that up is because most people do have Facebook,
Yeah.
but not everybody.
Right.
And virtually everybody does have a cell phone, and if you have that right there in your hand, you can have your different buildings and stuff.
And I think that's definitely still something on it, because we built that communication protocol as a team last year, the admin team, and we're working to continue to revise that. So like, what should be just on Facebook? Well, really, it's kind of stuff that's less important is what should only get Facebook as it's sent out. If it's something time pressing, it's gonna go out on the dialer. If it's something like a week from now, there's gonna be, or probably 2 weeks from now, there's gonna be a field trip, probably should be something sent home for that. So we really talked about tightening that down as a team, what gets sent home, what gets on Facebook, what goes in the band app, or what's the little kid one, Julie, that I can't remember?
Seesaw.
Seesaw, thank you. So I think that's fair, and that could help us maybe,
Well, you know,
potentially.
we've got Facebook, we've got band, we've got this, we've got that, and I've got kids, you know, 2 buildings.
All over the place.
And it's just, athletics and activities, middle school, Lakeview, oh my God, I saw this here, I saw this here, I saw this here.
But to speak to the band, that is really, again, I've praised Jared a lot in this meeting, but he's really pushed to make sure that all of our activities are using the band for communication.
It's gotten
Out
better
last
as it
year.
went on,
Yeah.
at least as far as
He's-
parents' usage or what
Right.
they're up or what. But
And I think you're right, there's still the issue of sometimes somebody will come on and post something, but yeah, definitely something we're not done with the work on
Right.
communication, but these are steps we're doing to continue to improve. The 500 series will be coming your way in the near future. I'm about a third to a half, somewhere in between there, through updating it. It is the biggest series that we've got. This is the student series, so a couple highlights for you. That one change in the good conduct policy to eliminate the words up to, so that we're being more consistent with people. The graduation requirements has been one that I've received a lot of feedback in my first couple of years in the district and really agree with. Right now, in order to graduate with honors, you have to take so many classes at the community college, and you know, the argument that we've gotten from some people is there are some students who have done what they needed to graduate with honors and then don't qualify for their full time for playing a sport at a junior college for which they've gotten a scholarship because they've got too many courses in. So we're looking for adding some different paths for honors for kids to try to clean that up.
Do away with the distinction one.
That might be what honors calls it. It might be called with distinction. But that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that different diplomas in there. Try to tighten that down. The state no longer requires financial literacy. I think as a board, we're gonna wanna have a conversation about whether this board would like to require financial literacy or not. That's something that is up to boards to do. So just kind of maybe have it in your mind as you're thinking. And, I'll try to highlight some other things from that when I email you. Just have it happen, there you go. But I'll give you all sorts of things in there. There's a few that have some options, so I may just leave both options in for us to talk about and see how we wanna do it, cause the 500 series is a bear. Now, dates, let's talk about some dates here, let me get my computer back up. Okay, so Thursday is the new teacher day. So we'll have new teachers in the district on Thursday. Then Monday is TQ day, and 3 o'clock on Monday, we're doing the open house. And talking to some of my team that was preparing the building for that, we really thought it'd be best to give that extra time there. The neat thing is, in doing that, Delaney's gonna have the ambassadors there to help us with the ribbon cutting too, which I think is kind of a cool thing.
And they have the giant scissors.
Yeah, and that gets some cool press and everything out of it, and so I believe AJ is already on board for it, but he's online, so I'll just, call him and make sure that he's still on board for that I was right on that, so. And then on the 20th, we've got, we start teacher workshop days for those 2 days. As we built the schedule for our back to school days, we really made it a priority to give our teachers as much time in their classrooms prior to open house night as possible. So it's even a little bit more than is required contractually, but we really feel when you look at Howard and you look at CHS and where those teachers are, where their stuff was everywhere in a lot of cases, we want to give them the time to feel comfortable before parents are coming in and seeing their room. And we don't want to set up an expectation that they have to come in on their free time to do that. I know many have, but we want to have that time built in for them so they know that there's time available for it. Then on the 22nd, we'll have our all-staff PD day. In the morning, we'll have our all-staff meeting, and then kick off with the rest of the PD building meetings and all the such that happens there. And the 23rd, we get the kiddos. So be excited.
Is there a date or a time for public open house?
So the ribbon cutting technically could be that, and what we've talked about doing is opening a certain couple rooms in the classroom wing, so that it's not, we're not trampling people through everybody's room. There's, you have to kind of beg some people, I think sometimes, because it could mess things up, so I did beg an English teacher that I know, can we use your room as one of them? So, we've got some rooms that are good to go, ready for that, and that we can take people through. The problem is the floor probably won't be great by then, so they may have to just look in, the gym floor, I'm sorry.
Right.
Won't be great by then, so they'll probably just have to look in and see it there, but.
I guess, are we gonna put anything out officially for a public open house?
Yeah, so yes, and it'll probably be on Facebook, to be honest with you. I don't know that we're quite ready to host 300 people, but if 50 or 60 people came through, I think we'd probably be okay. That's kind of where I was hoping to be with that one.
I would be thrilled with 50 or 60 people being at a ribbon cutting.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of interest in this. I've had a lot of people reach out about coming.
Lots of people would like to see it as an open house.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be I think it would be acceptable if it was several weeks into the school.
That's fair. We could do that.
Okay, and honestly, I think we need an open house in Howard. It
That's
doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
And if you had an open house at both buildings, so they could tour both of them.
We're also talking about doing something on, at homecoming time too, some tours.
Yeah, for those people that come back at that time.
But I think to do something beforehand, that would be an overwhelming day, I think.
How about let me talk to my team, and I agree with you. I think give it in a few weeks into the year, because right now I think we're trying to balance showing off the building with starting the year and everything.
Yeah, and I think the community would understand, we're not ready for an open house just yet.
Yeah.
2 to 4 weeks or so.
That's a good idea.
I think it might.
We'll want the punch list done before we.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because there's still a lot going on in the existing. It's still a war zone. It's really areas.
I don't know if it's a war zone, it's a skirmish.
And why not include, Lakeview?
Yeah.
And the preschool. If you're gonna see what we got, let's see it all, kind of thing. We're all proud of it.
We'll sell tickets.
Vault.
Like the Christmas tree.
I was just sitting there listening to that thinking, okay, well, we will look into that. I think that's a good idea to do something a few weeks in though, so let me talk to the team when we meet next and we'll see if we can come up with something for that. If that's got a lot of potential to, if we can buy that for all of us, I think that'll help us all feel a little better.
Oh, yeah,
That's all I have that's of any use, I think.
Alternative school, I haven't heard.
Okay. Yeah, so right now, I was supposed to meet with Noel and I was out sick for the day today. I don't have a number for the cost yet. So Indian Hills has offered to allow us to use the space in their new building for the alternative school. That was something that was done prior to my coming here. I don't have the cost from them yet. And we are working through, there's some discussion of they'd really like us not to bring lunches in from our school lunch program. So she's got a contact in their cafeteria that thinks maybe there's a way for us to be able to still do reimbursable meals for those kids, because a lot of our kids do qualify for free and reduced lunch. So just trying to figure out how we can make sure everybody gets fed with that too. The good news is we do have a really good space in our basement, and I think no matter what we do, we're probably looking at, if we go out there, it's gonna have to be something where we would move mid-year, because we're just getting so close and we still don't have a cost on it. And I think that's because Noel's trying to be super fair with it and trying to make sure that we get a cost that we can actually afford. And she's a really good partner to work with on that kind of thing, so.
I think there's some advantages for our students going out there.
Sure.
They seem to perform at a higher level. You know, they're not with the regular folks they grew up with. They're with some kids. I mean, you tend to rise to the people around you. And
that being said, Noel talked to me about some supervision concerns before, including tobacco use and things of that nature, that she said maybe were real issues. So I want to make sure that we have a discipline plan in place for that if we're going to be out there. Because right now, if you're a joker wanting to do something naughty at ACC, which not many do, I'm not saying that, you've got 1, 2, 3 administrators in your building with you to be able to handle that. So it's pretty tight that way.
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure that our system is set up to support April, working with the kids out there if we do make a move out there. And still a lot to do, but it really kind of hinges around that cost, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, weighing out, is it worth this amount of money for this benefit, and trying to balance that. And they're not in their new building, I don't think yet either. I think they're in the same boat as us, where it's like last minute things are kind of tying them up. So I don't want to push on her too hard, and because she's been really great to work with. In fact, I should say a thank you in my report to Indian Hills for donating chairs for our teachers lounge at CHS. So they had some chairs that were pretty nice chairs. And they offered if we wanted them for anywhere, so they donated chairs for us to put in for the CHS Teachers Lounge for nice ones. So definitely some positive going there, and I want to make sure I call that out. Sorry if that was rambly. Sorry.
Anything else for Mark? Otherwise, we'll do board takeaways. All right. Trying to remember if we left off with Derek or Tom last time. It's been a month. So I'm going to say start with Tom.
Okay, well, I appreciate all the information from the administrators about the start of school. I think that exciting. But I think one thing that kind of impressed me, that, you know, when we had our closed sessions, and I'm not going to talk about what went on, but I think some of the information there, you know, I appreciate our superintendent. Some of his job is so difficult to go through, and I just appreciate that he takes the time and consideration of how to handle those situations. It has to be so tough when, you know, you have, you know, open enrollment for certain kind of things. And I just think some part of his job is no fun at all, and I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thomas.
I guess I have some really high hopes for our administrative team. I'm very impressed. I think we made some good choices and we're in the right spot. And I think it's a real opportunity for all of us to make some real positive changes and some things that haven't gone so well in Central School District. So, I'm encouraged by everything that's happening. And tonight makes me feel pretty darn good. Carol?
Well, ditto to what you said. And I just want to say something specific about when Terry was talking about their schedule and having that, what was it at the beginning?
Like an advisory.
Yes, and touching base with those kids at the end of the day. I really like that and how it's, you know, they start their day with the same kids, they end their day and with that same adult, you know, hey, this happened today and now I can connect with that person. I think it's really important. Thank you.
I'm gonna go last because I got several things.
Oh, Sarah. Well, some of mine got stolen earlier when you were talking to Aaron, but Aaron, you and your team did tremendous work this summer. If you haven't been in school, I'm lucky enough to have been in all the schools here a lot, and it's just incredible. Just incredible what you guys have been able to do inside and outside the school. So thank you, thank your team. It's very impressive. Over the last couple of weeks, as part of the police department, did building walkthroughs at Lakeview, Howard, and the high school. I think a couple hours each one, so very, informative information on both sides, and kind of, I think there's good plans going forward with everything that needs to go there.
I found it kind of humorous, you mentioned when you guys were at SAI that, you were all immediately just kind of wanting to put those things into action, and that takes me back to our IASB conferences, because when we have our dinners, a lot of that is the same with us. Like, okay, they're gonna be mad when we get back, because we got a lot of things we're gonna throw at them. So I think that's cool. I think, our board self-assessment a few months ago, we knew what direction we wanted to take this district, and I can't echo everybody else enough, and I know it's not allowed, but make an exception. I'm excited to see where we're at and where we're going.
Excited.
It's exciting.
Keep me excited.
We're gonna raise the roof. Come on.
Let's not raise the roof any more than we need to.
He said, don't raise the roof too much.
All right, well, great segue. Because I am going to talk about ISB here, so. Maybe I'll do this one first. So ISB, so if you didn't get one of these in the mail already, you can come look at Lisa's. What we do need for you to do is to get with Lisa and say which of the sessions that you want to go to so she can sign you up on Wednesday. So on the ISB convention, it is Thursday, November 20th, 21st, and 22nd. By going to, on Wednesday, you get, if you go to each of the two sessions, you get 6 points. To be a better board award, you need 15. Okay, so that gets you 6. Activities on Thursday get you 6. So you can come out of that with 12 out of your 15 points just by being there. And then Mark and I and Mike are going to stay for the board president's workshop, which gets us 3. So we're going to come out of there with 15 at the end.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that one
Yeah,
as well.
well, you got to let Lisa know. And so it's an easy way to get over the hump with the majority of the points. And then we'll probably do something again next year with Tammy Graball, because when she comes in, that's 3 points. That's the easiest way to get better board, is to show up to convention and do the thing with Lisa comes. So if you haven't got your 15 points, you got till October 31st to have everything submitted online.
Those ones you sent me, how many points are those? I've
One
done-
apiece.
It's like one and one.
I've done some of those and I was
Some of them are great, some of them are kind of great.
That's all right.
I tried to find the ones that looked exciting.
Yeah, oh.
I'm hearing maybe not as good
See, the
as.
election cycle was great, because some of those were actually.
Yeah.
But you can go out there and look for more on that.
I can help you look at more if you want. We can go through the list sometime. if
Yeah,
there's
that'd be
stuff.
great, because I'm starting, but
So
I'll
we'll
probably
get
be
boring.
like October 30th doing them all.
Yeah. Well, make sure you get them done on time so they count.
Oh, I will. It'll be the last minute, but I'll have it done.
So
Anyway, so Lisa has, and I called her, whatever day it was last week, was it Friday?
Yes.
I called her on Friday and says, you know, convention enrollment started today and therefore hotel reservations aren't open. I called her like at 3:30. She says, it's my day off, but I was up. I tried to get in at 7:30, didn't open till 8, and 8 o'clock I went and I got a reservation. So we are not going to be in the Krusty Krab Hotel. So she was on it, and so since she was on it, getting us some awesome hotel reservations, please get on it and get your class preferences to her, so do that. And again, it is a good time, and that's, seriously, that's a time when we as a board get to do our professional development, just as we expect staff to do professional development. This is our turn as a board to do professional development, and better ourselves as a board, and exude leadership for the district from the board level by doing that. So I know it takes 3 days out of time. You got some people have to take vacation time. And I recognize that, and I thank you for it. I think we just lead by example and lead from the front is my philosophy on that one. I will say this about getting back to school. It's always an exciting time, and I know that staff is probably getting excited. I will tell you personally, when I look at having lived here for 22 years, when we moved here, one of the biggest problems we had to overcome to move here was the physical infrastructure of the school district. Old buildings. And we had come from some really nice areas and communities and so forth. And I will tell you that in 2013, I was on a community advisory panel that was to look at facilities infrastructure. And we started talking in 2013 about a high school addition. And out of that meeting in 2013, that's why the wrestling room was put where it was, in order to do this. So for me, this has been an 11-year journey. So I'm really looking forward to the open house, because I think it is a tremendous resource, an asset for the community. I think it's going to be a tremendous learning environment for our students. And I think we have a tremendous opportunity in front. How many times can I say tremendous? Tremendous amount of time. We have an awesome opportunity to go into the school year and really kind of set the tone and change, and just the whole standards that we want to. I think we got some great standards and some great educational leaders out there, and I'm just looking forward to this year is what I'm saying. I'm looking for, a great year from the administrative team and from staff, and so I'm excited about the school year. Usually it's I don't know, I'm more excited than ever for a school year to start. It's infectious, so I hope everybody else is too. So with that, thank you for all the work that you've done over the summer, Aaron. I don't know how many times we can say you're doing an awesome job. And just look for the school year. And with that,
I do have one more question, I'm sorry. Traffic flow in front of the high school. Have we changed? Are we just gonna continue like it is?
Right now, we've got it as it is, and we can, if it doesn't work the way that it is, we can talk to them, try to see if they'd be willing to change for us. But right now, it's still one way.
Okay.
drop kids off, drivers on the opposite side, drop kids off the school curbside.
Yeah, okay.
But we gotta watch it too as it goes and see if because if we do need to make a change, we can always request. And they're pretty good to us, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, with that, this has been a very long meeting. Thank you for everybody's attention. A lot of things got done tonight. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you. I thought we were. No, motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, you can stay here on your own.